Right now, thousands of American seniors who own their homes are unknowingly sitting on a ticking financial time bomb. And if you are over 60 and nobody has told you about these 5 critical documents, then what you are about to hear in the next few minutes could be the most important thing you watch all year. Because we are not talking about minor paperwork or bureaucratic technicalities. We are talking about documents that directly determine whether you keep your home, protect your retirement savings, preserve your social security benefits, and leave something meaningful behind for the people you love. And the frightening reality is that the IRS, your state government, and even your local county offices have made significant updates to rules and deadlines that most seniors simply are not aware of, which means the clock's already ticking, and many of you watching this right now are already behind. Let's start with something that affects nearly every single homeowner over 60 in America, and yet is one of the most commonly neglected documents in retirement: the homestead exemption. And before you say you already have one, hear me out, because having filed one years ago is not the same as having one that is current, active, and properly protecting you under your county's latest assessment guidelines. Here is what has been happening across the country. Property values have surged dramatically in recent years, and as a direct result, county tax assessors in states from Florida to Texas to Illinois have been quietly raising property tax assessments to levels that are absolutely crushing seniors on fixed incomes. And in many counties, the homestead exemption that was protecting you 5 or 10 years ago either needs to be renewed, updated, or refiled because the thresholds and eligibility categories have changed. Think about a retired postal worker named James living in a suburb of Atlanta. He owned his home outright, thought his taxes were set, and then one day received a notice that his annual property tax bill had jumped from $2,200 to over $4,000 in a single year. And when he called his county office in a panic, he was told his homestead exemption had lapsed during a system migration 3 years earlier, and nobody had notified him. He refiled that same week and got the overage back, but only because he caught it in time, and many seniors across the country are not catching it in time. The second document you absolutely cannot afford to ignore is the Senior Property Tax Freeze or Deferral Application. And this one genuinely shocks people when they hear about it because the benefits are so significant. And yet, participation rates among eligible seniors remain incredibly low. More than 30 states across the country currently offer programs that will either freeze your property taxes at their current level or allow you to defer payment of property taxes entirely until your home is eventually sold, meaning you could be living in your home right now without paying a single dollar in property taxes out of pocket, while that deferred amount simply gets settled from the estate later. The income thresholds for these programs vary by state, but many of them are set at household income levels between $35,000 and $75,000 per year, which means a substantial portion of retirees watching this right now qualify and are simply not enrolled because they did not know to apply. And in most states, these programs require an annual application that must be filed before a specific deadline, often in the spring, which means if you are watching this and you have not checked your state's senior tax relief program recently, you may be just weeks away from missing this year's window entirely. The third document is one that estate planning attorneys say they wish every senior knew about before it was too late: a beneficiary deed, sometimes called a transfer on death deed. And this single piece of paper, filed with your county recorder's office, can be the difference between your children inheriting your home smoothly and your family spending 18 months and tens of thousands of dollars fighting through probate court while grieving your loss at the same time. Here is the hard truth about what happens when a senior homeowner passes away without this document properly filed. The home does not automatically pass to your spouse or your children just because everyone agrees on who should get it. Instead, the home gets frozen as part of your estate. It goes through a lengthy and expensive legal process called probate. Creditors can make claims against it, and in some cases where estates are complex or family situations are contested, homes have actually been forced into sale to settle debts and legal fees. And all of that pain could have been avoided with one correctly filed document that in most states costs less than $100 to prepare and record. Now, before we get to documents 4 and 5, and I want you to stay with me because these last two are arguably the most financially dangerous ones on this entire list, and the ones that most financial advisors either gloss over or bring up too late. If this information is helping you, or if you know a parent, a neighbour, or a friend over 60 who owns their home and needs to hear this, please take just 5 seconds right now to hit the like button and click subscribe. Because every single week, we bring you straightforward, honest updates on IRS changes, retirement law, senior benefits, Medicare, Social Security, and the financial rules that directly affect your life. And we do it in plain English without the confusing jargon, so hit that subscribe button. And let's keep going because what comes next is critical. The fourth document is one that sits at the dangerous intersection of home ownership and healthcare. And that is a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, or a properly executed deed protection strategy designed specifically to protect your home from Medicaid estate recovery. And if that phrase means nothing to you right now, please understand that it should, because here is what is actually happening to real families across America right now. A senior needs nursing home care, which in 2024 and 2025 now costs an average of between $9,000 and $12,000 per month, depending on your state. And since Medicare only covers a very limited short-term stay, most seniors eventually turn to Medicaid to cover long-term care costs. But what Medicaid does not advertise clearly is that after you pass away, the state has the legal right to recover whatever it paid for your care directly from your estate, and your home is almost always the largest asset in that estate. The devastating catch is that Medicaid has a 5-year look-back period, meaning that any assets, including your home that you transferred or placed in a trust within the 5 years before you applied for Medicaid, can be pulled back and counted against you. Which is why elder law attorneys and financial planners who work with seniors are absolutely urgent in telling their clients that the time to protect your home from Medicaid estate recovery is not when you get sick. It is right now, while you are healthy, and the 5-year clock can start running in your favour, because every single month you wait is a month lost on that protection window, and a month closer to potentially having your home claimed by the state after a lifetime of mortgage payments and hard work. The fifth and final document on this list ties everything together, and it is one that most people assume they have handled correctly, when in reality they have not. And that document is a current, legally valid, durable power of attorney, paired where necessary with an IRS Form 2848 for tax and financial representation. And the reason this is so urgent right now is that over the past several years, banks, financial institutions, the IRS, Medicare, and Social Security offices have all significantly tightened their standards for accepting powers of attorney, meaning that documents drafted 5, 10, or 15 years ago are increasingly being rejected as outdated, improperly formatted, or no longer compliant with current state law requirements. Imagine this situation. A senior has a stroke or a serious health event, and their adult child tries to step in to manage their finances, pay their bills, communicate with the IRS about a tax matter, or access accounts to cover medical costs, and the bank or the IRS rejects the power of attorney on file because it does not meet current standards, and suddenly the family is locked out of everything at the exact moment when every hour and every dollar counts. And the only way to fix it at that point is through a court proceeding called guardianship or conservatorship that can take months and cost thousands of dollars that could have been completely avoided. So here is exactly what you need to do starting today. Call your county clerk or assessor's office and ask specifically whether your homestead exemption is current and active under the latest guidelines. Then visit your state's Department of Revenue or Department of Aging website and search for senior property tax freeze or deferral programs and find out if you qualify and when the application deadline is. Then contact a licensed estate planning attorney or a HUD-approved housing counsellor, many of whom offer free consultations for seniors, and ask them to review your deed, your beneficiary designations, your trust documents, if you have any, and your power of attorney to make sure everything is current, properly executed, and actually doing the job you think it is doing. You worked for decades to own your home, you paid your taxes, you contributed to Social Security, and you built something real. And the system that you contributed to your whole life has rules, deadlines, and fine print that can quietly take what you built if you are not paying attention. And that is not fair, but it is the reality, and the seniors who protect themselves are the ones who stay informed and take action before a crisis forces their hand. The financial landscape for retirees in America right now is genuinely complex, and it is changing faster than most people can keep up with. But you do not have to navigate it alone, and you do not have to be caught off guard. Every update, every rule change, every deadline that matters to your retirement, your home, and your financial security is exactly what this channel exists to cover for you in plain, honest, straightforward language. Please share this video with someone you care about who is over 60 and owns their home, because the information in these next few months could make a life-changing difference. And we will see you in the next one.